You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity.
This is supremacy at its finest, and it's ridiculous. Straight out of the 1940s and 1950s Third Reich in Germany. Stephen Miller, it's you that haven't created shit. You and all your MAGA racist friends have not built anything in this goddamn country. Everything that you see around you, all the buildings, all the houses, or the roads, or the corporations, everything was built by people of color, minorities, immigrants, and slaves. White House that took 8 years from start to finish, and Barack Obama, a black man, sat on it, was built by his fucking ancestors, by slaves. The U.S. Capitol that took over 30 years to build was built by slaves. Over 385 registered historic payments made to the owners of slaves. The Smithsonian Institute, Wall Street, fucking Harvard Law, which was founded by Isaac Royal Jr., an owner of slaves. All of it, slave labor, slave money, slave product. The University of Georgetown, that was created by Jesuit priests from the sale of 272 slaves in the United States. The oldest public university in the United States, UNC, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, built by slaves. The 19-foot bronze statue on top of the Capitol was built by Philip Reeve, a slave. The Transcontinental Railway, which covers the majority of the tracks built in the United States, were touched and built by the Chinese. And when they didn't do it, guess who was? The Mexican truckeros brought from Mexico. Finished the build. You people have built nothing. For the past 700 years, everything that you possess, all the wealth, all the buildings, every single piece of infrastructure in the United States has been built by immigrants, black people, and people of color. This was not a funeral or a memorial. This, you know what it was? A white supremacy celebration of your bullshit and your lies, to embolden racist people to keep supporting you and keep following you. And you're using that racist bastard as your martyr. And we are all up to your tricks. We all can see it. My fucking God, bro. Que tengan buen día.
Oh yeah guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing good. Stephen Miller is back in the headlines, and not for anything good. Once again, he is stirring up outrage, and this time it's not just activists or progressives. A growing number of white Americans, people who may have once supported him or stayed silent, are now fed up and furious, and honestly they have every reason to be. So guys, I'm just going to roll the clips. I'll be coming back with more commentaries. In case of any thoughts, kindly feel free to let me know in the comment section.
Okay, this one is actually freaky, so stick until the end. We start with this guy. Remember him? This is Richard Spencer. He briefly became the most famous neo-Nazi in America after Trump's first election with this speech.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
This is when neo-Nazis were starting to rebrand as alt-right, but as you can see, they were still super mask off. If you don't know, Hail Victory is English for Sieg Heil. Anyway, listen closely to this part of the speech.
To be white is to be a striver, a crusader, an explorer, and a conqueror. We build, we produce, we go upward.
And that is a regular neo-Nazi talking point that you hear often these days, that white people build, create, invent things, that they're the source of civilization or whatever. Keep that in the back of your mind, but enough of Richard Spencer for now. Because this rotten hard-boiled egg is Stephen Miller. He's one of the only high-level White House staffers that stayed with Trump after his first term. And he's Trump's main immigration advisor, the architect of Trump's immigration policy. And even though he comes from a Jewish family, his own family members say that guy totally would have been an SS officer back in the day. Anyway, this is a section of his speech at the Charlie Kirk Memorial.
Our lineage and our legacy hails back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Our ancestors built the cities. They produced the art and architecture. They built the industry. Erica stands on the shoulders of thousands of years of warriors, of women who raised up families, raised up city, raised up industry, raised up civilization, who pulled us out of the caves and the darkness into the light. The light will defeat the dark. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. You are wickedness, you are jealousy, you are envy, you are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity.
Yeah, things are getting dark, man. Things are getting really dark. Anyone who knows anything about Nazi propaganda know that that was a Nazi speech. Not even a watered-down crypto-Nazi speech. That is a straight-up Nazi speech from the 1930s. And they feel comfortable doing this because they know that the killing of Charlie Kirk has given them a way to dismiss and invalidate comparisons to the Nazis. But holy shit is that mask off, and holy shit should that make you worry about what is to come.
Okay, you hired a president that wants to be the mustache man. You hired a whatever the hell Stephen Miller is that basically can't do anything but hate. He was probably abused in high school. He has the look. Then you turn around and put on a pretty boy from the news that's the head of the military. I mean, your selection process is a monster. And now you got ICE running around the country acting like them being the biggest police force in the world. You got one little slight problem. Out of the 800,000 law enforcement people that you have in the United States of America, you have some of them black and some of them are actually there's some of them have their mind. They're just mindless too. But eventually, when this whole thing blows over and the smoke clears, every one of you law enforcement that have made a really bad decision, you cannot use "I was doing my job" as a legal defense. Including you soldiers that are eventually you are walking around the United States with loaded firearms. That is not what your training is. Your training is to combat enemies. That domestic and foreign, you got to work on that. Because the problem is you may have all of the toys. But when the smoke clears, you might end up losing everything, including your freedom. Because there is going to be a day of reckoning for this bullshit that Trump got you sucking into. So you keep thinking wholeheartedly with your whole chest that you're doing the right thing. Doing the right thing is not holding a gun on your fucking neighbor, dumbass. And if it's not bad enough, none of these people have the credential to be in the position that they're in. Not one of them. But you think that this shit is going to turn... You take stupid and lead stupid, and you think that you're gonna commit... We're gonna have a new world order, not with old stupidity. I'm just saying.
Married to Stephen Miller, so you are the envy of all women. What is that like?
The sexual matador, right?
What is it like being married to such a sexual matador?
Lady, you're telling me you're married to this? Pee Wee German himself? Lady, he looks like if a night terror got security clearance. He looks like the spawn of Nosferatu and the jar of expired mayonnaise. This guy has built his entire personality on being allergic to immigrants, which is pretty crazy because his hairline immigrated years ago. Like, his scalp looks like it's filed for asylum in the back of his neck. And I know he's MAGA and he's for Build the Wall, which is really hilarious because the only wall that he successfully built is between him and normal human emotion. He looks like the Temu version of Voldemort. And speaking of Harry Potter, this guy could probably be the real-life version of a Dementor. And I can imagine that his Horcrux would be like a teddy bear that he found at the border from a child that he deported. Like, that guy has all the warmth of a Motel 6 ice machine and the sex appeal of a tax audit. And of course, I decided to go look up his age, and I found out that he's 40 years old. For reference, I'm 38. And I was generally thinking oh, who does this guy remind me of? And then this popped into my head. For anyone that's a fan of the It movie franchise, here you go. And I know HBO Max is doing a Welcome to Derry television series, so HBO, if you actually need a stand-in, I would recommend this guy.
You ever wonder what happens when a high school troll grows up and gets access to federal power? You get Stephen Miller. And this man didn't just whisper in Trump's ear, he wrote the whole damn playbook. Stephen Miller isn't just some advisor. He's the author behind Trump's most cruel, racist, and authoritarian politics. And he did it quietly, in a suit, all while pretending that it was about national security. You remember the Muslim ban? That was Miller. Family separation at the border? That was Miller. Trying to strip citizenship from immigrants legally living here? Yep, Miller. He's the reason zero tolerance became a government slogan. The man crafted policy like it was fan fiction for fascists. And you want to talk about connections? Stephen Miller was mentored by Richard Spencer, the actual white nationalist who coined the term alt-right. They went to Duke together, and Miller invited him to campus. Let that sink in. The dude writing U.S. immigration policy was once boosted by a literal neo-Nazi. And don't think he disappeared when Trump left the first time. He started a legal group called America First Legal, designed to sue the government every single time it tried to be decent. Trying to stop DEI programs? That's Miller. Attacking asylum protections? That's Miller. Lawsuits to block civil rights policies under the radar? Also Miller. And the scariest part is that he's not a loudmouth. He's a strategist. He's not tweeting insults. He's writing executive orders. He learned that power isn't about being liked. It's about embedding your ideology so deep within the system that even after you're gone, your fingerprints stay on the walls. Stephen Miller doesn't just advise Trump. He built a machine, one fueled by fear, whiteness, and legal loopholes. And it's still running, it's just a little quieter now. So we all know the bigotry has definitely resurfaced. We can see that in the court dockets, the school bans, and the borders. Stephen Miller never left. He just sharpened his horns and put on a nicer tie.
Here's the thing. A lot of people have been talking about what Stephen Miller said the other day at Charlie Kirk's memorial. And what they're not doing is talking about why he's doing it. Why did he do that? And the reason is because there is a full-on propaganda war to get you to shut up. There is a propaganda war right now, accusing us of being violent to make us afraid to speak out. They want us to be afraid we'll lose our jobs. People, the free speech group, want us to go away, to hide, and to be quiet so that they can do what they're going to be doing and what they're going to try to do over the next few years in silence. I get it. Charlie Kirk dying was very sad. That does not make him a good person. And it doesn't mean we should be silenced for saying that he was not a good person. And it's sad that people are shooting at ICE agents. But you know what? They're not heroes. They still shouldn't be wearing masks. And what they're doing is still wrong. This is a full-on propaganda war. This is what the Nazis did. And then they're going to tell you that we're stoking violence by calling them Nazis when they're acting like Nazis. You cannot let them win. Don't let them shut you up. Keep calling them fascists. Keep calling them Nazis. It's what they are. It's the playbook that they're using. Stephen Miller the other day plagiarized Joseph Goebbels. They're doing it on purpose, and then they're trying to turn around and use spin to get us to shut up, to tell us that we're the ones that are stoking violence. Do not fall for it. These people are bullies, and bullies don't like it when you stand up to them. And right now, what they're trying to do is get you to shut up, and you can't do it. Everyone needs to say something, post it, talk to your neighbor about it. Go on that Nextdoor app. You know, that one that everybody hates. Yeah, that's where your neighbors are. Your old neighbors need to hear it. People need to know that we are out there. Right now, they want nothing more than for us to be quiet, for us to get scared, for us to think that we're going to lose our jobs if we speak out. Don't do it. Keep posting. Keep talking to your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers. Do not shut up.
I went to high school with Stephen Miller, and he's always been an evil little dweeb. Our biology teacher refused to give Stephen permission to handle the animals because she said that he was not fit to interact with living things. So she gave him a Tamagotchi for our animal unit, and he literally just sat in the corner all semester and starved it. One time in English class when we were reading Fahrenheit 451, Stephen began to weep. When the teacher asked why he was moved to tears, Stephen said that the book burning was so beautiful and that he couldn't hold back. He was also just overall a strange guy. Like, he would take those baby carrots and instead of like eating them normally at lunch, he would suck on them slowly. And he would eat them all day for like hours. The whole school kind of united around how much we disliked Stephen. Like, he tried to invade the Dungeons and Dragons club and take over their game, but they said they didn't want a totalitarian dungeon master, so the football players came to physically escort him out of the Dungeons and Dragons game. During AP Psychology, we had a whole unit on socially aberrant behavior, and part of that included taking a psychopath test. Stephen was always very defensive about it. He said, "I'm nothing like this. Don't make me take it." And she said, "I won't make you take the test even if you stop lurking." At the end of the day, Stephen really never did himself any favors. So he didn't get invited to a lot of parties. In fact, whenever we had a school party, everyone was invited except Stephen because he was so mean. So he would call the police and then show up at the house where the party was taking place. And then the police would look at him and say, "I see why nobody invited you to this party. We're not going anywhere. Please leave, you rat." So even the cops hated him. This is satire, but none of this would surprise me because this man is disappearing people. They are evil. Call your legislator, demand justice.
Let me make it clear, what are we even talking about in this video? Stephen Miller, of course, he's once again stirring controversy, and many white Americans have had enough. In this video, we are here breaking down the growing frustration surrounding Miller's actions and the backlash he is facing across America, from policy decisions to public statements. The outrage is building and people are speaking out louder than ever. So guys, let's continue watching. I'll be coming back with more commentaries. Stay tuned.
I wonder, Stephen. Governor Newsom's press office tweets Stephen Miller's a fascist, and then Stephen's like, "Why do you think they posted this?" I don't know. Maybe because you're a fascist. Just an idea.
Sure appreciate
Who was Stephen Miller talking to at that funeral service?
and your insight to Australia and
That man said, "You have no idea what dragon you have awoken. You are nothing. You're worth nothing. You can produce nothing. And we're going to fight with everything we have to take back the West and to take back our republic." Now, listen to me. This is the thing. This is my thing. I thought that the person responsible for what happened to Mr. Kirk was apprehended and is currently in police custody. That's what I thought. So, if that be the case, who is he talking to? Who is he directing that rhetoric at? Is what I'm trying to figure out. He said, "Your actions have immortalized Mr. Kirk." Y'all didn't get rid of him. He's now immortalized. I thought the person was apprehended and the person is in police custody.
Well, then take it, Flussberg. Sure appreciate your
Who was
time
Stephen Miller talking to at that funeral service?
and your insight to Australia and
Can someone that's smarter than me please decipher what this mumbling dizzy yo-yo is talking about?
Light will defeat the dark.
It will?
We will prevail.
But you're part of the dark.
Forces of wickedness and evil.
That's you.
They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us.
What army? What army?
We stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble.
No, you don't.
And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing.
This guy's projecting.
You are wickedness. You are
hard.
jealousy, you are envy. You are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity.
Do you?
You thought you could kill Charlie Kirk? You have made him immortal. You have immortalized Charlie Kirk. And now millions will carry on his legacy.
Okay. Sure they will.
And we will devote the rest of our lives to finishing the causes for which Charlie gave his last measure of devotion.
Really?
You cannot defeat us. You cannot slow us. You cannot stop us. You cannot deter us.
Yes, we can.
We will carry Charlie and Erica in our heart every single day and fight that much harder because of what you did to us. You have no idea. The dragon you have awakened. You have no idea how determined we will be to save this civilization, to save the West.
The projection here is astronomical. But when I tell you that these people are cryptic as fuck, I am telling you, that speech is much deeper than you think. The speech you just heard was a blatant copy and inspiration of Joseph Goebbels' book, The Storm is Coming. He literally quoted some of the things out of this book. Ironically, he, Stephen Miller, is the Joseph Goebbels of today. When I tell you that these people are wanting a civil war, they really are. They're going to take this CK shit and milk it to fucking death. No pun intended. We really need to grow eyes in the back of our heads, because I don't trust these people.
Guy everybody actually needs to worry about. Not this guy, not this guy. This guy. He's not loud, he's not flashy, but he's more dangerous than any of them because he's the one who writes the playbook. Stephen Miller is the guy who crafted Trump's family separation policy and bragged about it. He pushed the Muslim ban. He wrote speeches about American carnage. And now he's building a far-right legal empire called America First Legal, designed to outlive Trump and outmaneuver democracy. But here's the kicker. Stephen Miller is the descendant of Jewish immigrants who fled persecution. Under his own immigration rules, his family would not have been allowed in. He grew up rich in liberal Santa Monica and still chose a life of punching down on refugees and immigrants and anyone who doesn't fit his vision of real America. Spoiler alert, that vision is white, male, and Christian. Miller isn't some relic of the Trump era. He's the future of far-right America. He's quiet, he's strategic, lawfare over loudmouths. He's trying to reshape the country through lawsuits and bureaucracy because the courts don't need a majority vote. They just need loopholes. If we keep treating this like a personality cult around Trump, we miss the machine behind it. Stephen Miller is that machine. And if we don't start paying attention now, we're going to wake up in a country where cruelty isn't only the byproduct, it's the only policy. And if you want to follow me on any of the other platforms, all my links are in the bio. Remember, I'm not the dark left.
Guys, as you continue watching, we have one more clip to watch. For those who don't know, Stephen Miller is a former senior advisor to Donald Trump and one of the chief architects of some of the most controversial immigration and domestic policies in the recent United States history, from the infamous family separation policy at the border to pushing anti-immigration rhetoric into the mainstream. Miller has consistently positioned himself at the heart of political chaos. So guys, let's get into these remaining clips. I'll be coming back with more commentaries. Kindly like this video.
Alright guys, trigger warning. I'm about to show you something disturbing. I warned ya. I can only imagine that Stephen Miller is the result of Igor from Frankenstein and Lord Voldemort having a wild night at a monster mixer that resulted in an unwanted child. So they left the child in a dumpster for a few weeks where it mostly died, but it was found by Joseph Goebbels and Heinrich Himmler, and they like revived it with some weird Nazi science and then raised it as their own. It's the only logical way that something that hideous comes into existence. Anyway, I did it, guys. I sacrificed my mental health reading all about Stephen Miller, and now I'm going to sacrifice your mental health telling you about it. As bad as you might think he is, he's not that bad. In fact, incredibly, he is a much much worse. There are zero redeeming qualities I could find about this man at any point in his life, which surprisingly only began on August 23rd, 1985 in Santa Monica, California. So despite him looking like he's 4,000 years old and has been kept alive solely by drinking the blood of the innocent, the man is only 40. At least according to the birth certificate he probably forged, because there's no way that man is 40, and as a millennial I will never ever accept him as one of us. Anyway, fascist Frankenstein over here, whose entire personality is hating immigrants because they will be the downfall of Western civilization, is the grandchild of Russian Jewish refugees. I mean, I guess he wasn't wrong when he said immigrants would ruin our country, since immigrants spawned Stephen Miller. I know it's a big surprise by looking at him, but this motherfucker's always been a loser. His elementary school teacher said that he didn't have any friends and was always sitting by himself, and if you think that's bad, by the 7th grade, he'd already identified as a conservative. Just think about how fucking lame of a 7th grader you'd have to be in a Santa Monica middle school to be like, I'm a conservative. Anyway, Pee Wee German goose-stepped his way into high school, where by that point he was just openly hating Mexicans and Muslims and basically everybody, because he really hates himself, but he's too much of a coward to admit it. He reportedly taunted immigrants and openly opposed the school's chapter of the Chicano student movement. He spent a lot of time bitching about Muslims, especially after 9/11. He was also super pissed that the school was providing condoms for kids, likely because he was mad at the idea that kids were having sex, but he would never be one of them. Unless, of course, it was with Larry Elder, because that's the only reason I could assume that he went on that creepy old fucks conservative talk show 69 times specifically as a fucking teenager. I get why Stephen Miller was begging Larry Elder to let him on the show, because he's a fucking loser and he thought that that would be something cool to do. But why would Larry Elder want some teenager everybody hated on his talk show once, let alone 69 times? And now look, I'm not saying that Larry Elder was out here raping children, although judging by the rest of the Republican Party, he probably did. I'm just saying that the only logical reason I can personally think of is maybe Larry Elder was looking for a different type of talking head, and there's just a little bit of quid pro quo going on there. Side note, if you get a blowjob from somebody who looks like a thumb, does that count as a hand job as well? But if you haven't gotten the concept of how much everybody hated Stephen Miller even back then, the school newspaper wrote an article about him mocking him for April Fools. Do you know how much teenagers have to hate you to take the time to sit down and write a whole ass article about you making fun of you? Teenagers hate doing English homework, and they chose out of their own volition to write a prose about how much they hated Stephen Miller. Anyway, Stephen Miller's entire high school career is basically like American History X, except if it was rewritten to be Ernest joins the Klan, and then unfortunately at the end he gets to graduate high school. But there's certainly a possibility he took some shots in the bathroom from Larry Elder, and through that connection he was introduced to David Horowitz. So then with Stephen, with the PH, went to Duke University to study political science. He started writing for David Horowitz's website, just bitching about like multiculturalism and shit. At Duke University, he quickly made everybody hate him as much or more than they did in high school, because he went around introducing himself as saying, hey, I'm Stephen from Santa Monica and I like guns. Like he was a rejected character from The Ringer. They gave him the nickname Guns because of it. While at Duke, Stephen bitched about a student group having solidarity with Palestine and created some like Students for Academic Freedom group to oppose it, that him and a few other losers would just like hang around and circle jerk probably. He also wrote a column in the student newspaper bitching about multiculturalism called Miller Time. Guys, I cannot stress how much of a fucking loser this dude is. He also supposedly dated a Mexican-American girl because he's a hypocrite. That's if she existed at all. She was probably from Canada, because I can't find any evidence that she did actually exist. She's only known by a pseudonym on his Wikipedia page. She dropped out after freshman year, you know, you wouldn't know her. He'd also refer to Muslims and Arabs as terrorists, and he called it radical Islam, like he was one of the first people really embracing that bullshit. And he also spent an uncomfortable amount of time defending dudes accused of rape. He took a lot of his personal time defending these dudes he didn't know and who probably didn't like him because nobody liked him, defending them against rape accusations, like on the radio and in writing. Anyway, after college, he worked as press secretary for Michelle Bachmann. Minnesota, sorry about her still. Really. Genuinely, we are. Springboarded his Tea Party career, eventually getting him to work for Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions. There he weaseled his way into being his communications director, and he used that position to legitimize his really racist views about immigration. In addition to that, through Horowitz, he got hooked up with Steve Bannon and basically got to tell Breitbart what they were going to write, and he told him to write some pretty heinous shit. He arguably made Breitbart the Nazi propaganda rag it is today. So with all of those credentials, when Hamburglar Hitler hit the campaign trail and he needed his very own Joseph Goebbels, Miller was the man for the job. He became Apricot Adolph's speechwriter, crafting his language, and because Dementia Donnie's far too dumb to come up with any original thoughts, all of his completely insane immigration and racist policies, Stephen Miller personally whispered in his ear. The man is the architect of the Trump administration immigration and anti-civil rights policies. He did such an evil job building a racist narrative morons would fall for that it became a cult, and he was kept on as a senior advisor and director of speechwriting. And every single heinous immigration act this administration has done is directly because of him. Separating families, his plan. Axing DACA, his plan. Dropping refugee acceptance from 110,000 down to 30,000, him again. And then when Cheddar Cheese Charles Manson lost the election, he was instrumental in all of that overturning the election bullshit. And when he was investigated for it, Attila the Dumb used executive privilege to not turn over documents that proved his guilt in the whole thing. He was also in that interim time doing a bunch of shit in Texas that was like anti-immigration. The dude's done so much evil stuff. Just out here being the Republicans' white power ranger, you know? Now he's the deputy chief of staff and the Homeland Security advisor. And all of the fun fascism and Nazi stuff we need to deal with now is him. The ICE raids, the concentration camps. He was in charge of federalizing the National Guard in DC. He's the one out here leading the whole blowing up random boats in international waters in the Gulf of Mexico. And just to show you how awful he is, Jesse Waters apparently has some weird crush on him because he said to his wife, yeah, Stephen Miller's married now. I'm assuming it happened at gunpoint. And he said to her that she must be the envy of all women. And she said he's a sexual matador. And I don't know what that means. But no person has ever said that willingly about a sexual partner they enjoy being in a relationship with. The man is a genuine sociopath, a mass murderer, a raging white supremacist, one of the most vile human beings to ever disgrace the face of this earth. If we ever get our Nuremberg trials, he will be front and center. And no matter how much you think you hate Stephen Miller and that creepy fucking face of his, it's not enough. You can hate him more, and you should. The dude needs to go to prison forever. He's white-collar Jeffrey Dahmer at this point. He is just completely despicable, and I cannot wait to see him gone. Anyway, before you go to sleep tonight, check under your bed and in your closet and, you know, like behind the curtains, because Stephen Miller's probably there. That man is definitely a horror movie creature that is hiding in chat.
Oh yeah guys, we have come to the conclusion of this video, and all that I can say is that recently Miller has been making noise again through interviews. He has been making noise through lawsuits and political lobbying. He has been working to push extreme agendas through his group, America First Legal, and is actively suing schools and federal agencies over diversity and inclusion programs. What's the goal? This goal? To roll back any progress made towards racial equity, and many are calling it what it is, dangerous and divisive. But here is what is different now. It's not just progressive immigrants or communities of color calling out Miller anymore. A growing number of white Americans, just as we have seen in these clips, many in conservative and moderate circles are done. They are calling his tactics racist, manipulative, and even un-American. Why? Because they see how this toxic rhetoric is tearing the country apart across social media, town halls, and even on conservative news platforms. People are pissed off. Parents, veterans, educators, they are all speaking out. Miller's latest lawsuits against universities and hiring practices are being seen not as protecting equality, but as coded attacks meant to divide people further. And frankly, people are saying enough is enough. What does this mean, guys? This moment marks a shift when someone like Stephen Miller starts losing the very people who used to be indifferent or supportive. It's a sign that even white America, or at least a significant portion of it, is waking up to the damage being done. They are tired of the hate, tired of the destruction, tired of being pitted against one another for political gain. Stephen Miller may still have a platform, but he is losing the room. And if more people continue to speak up, just maybe, we can finally drown out the noise and start rebuilding something better. If you found this video helpful, guys, if you found this video eye-opening, hit the like button. Kindly give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content. And let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Are you seeing this shift too? Let's talk about it in the comments, guys. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of this video. And this video is meant for educational purposes and commentaries purposes as well. Kindly feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Please support this channel. Until next time, guys, stay informed, stay engaged. Thank you so much and have a nice time. Peace be with you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, guys. Until next time.